Vapers, Everyday Vaper here again. Another review, a hardware review of the Delta 2 tank by Joyetech. This is a Clearomiser, sub-ohm Clearomiser. Very kindly sent for review by the team at gearbest.com. Link above as always. Also a link below in the description. They do a great range of vaping gear, from mods to tanks to drip tips. And they've always seems like they've always got a sale on as well. So it's well worth checking out their site. Get some great deals on there. Link below to where to buy the Delta 2 as well. So first thing I'm going to do, have a look below, see what's in the box and have a look at the tank in a bit more detail. So the Delta 2 comes well packaged in an attractive box. We open it up and straight away we have the Joyetech instruction manual. You also have the warranty card that you can fill in for warranty, and then we have the tank itself. So you get the Joyetech Delta 2 with a coil already in and a spare 0.5 ohm coil with it as well. So looking at the tank itself, we have a very solid styling with a glass window there so you can see how much liquid's in there. On the bottom we have the adjustable airflow, fully open, fully closed. Comes with its own drip tip, and the 510 is non-adjustable. We can open it up by unscrewing the bottom, and we have the coil, and the coil itself has adjustable liquid openings, so we can turn the base of the coil and it will close off the liquid intake, and then we can turn it over. It has 3 of these, so there's a wide range of liquid intake settings that you can use on this depending on the liquid that you're using. So more fully open for higher VG, higher viscosity liquids, closed or more closed for the 50/50s and your high PG blends. And inside there we have the coil inside there. We can actually take that off the base, so removing the coil off the base and we're left with the base here. Putting the coil back on is simple. We can just screw it hand tight onto there. Looking at the tank itself, the drip tip is removable, but there is no way of actually disassembling the tank itself. It comes as one sealed unit. Despite this groove here, doesn't matter how much you turn it, it stays solid. And inside we have the chamber, and around the edge you have the filling gap, or the bit that holds your liquid on there. So reassembling, we can put it back inside, turn it hand tight, and we can replace our drip tip. And that is your Joyetech Delta 2 tank. So fitting the Delta 2 is straightforward. First thing we can do is take off our drip tip. Then we can unpackage the Delta 2. And we're going to fill this chamber here. Now it's straightforward but somewhat fiddly due to the very narrow place to put your liquids. We need to put it around the edge, the outside edge of that center chamber. So we're going to take our liquid here and place the nozzle just down the side there and just squeeze until full. Once full, we can take our on there and we can replace the drip tip. The only reason I took off the drip tip is you can stand it on end to fill if need be. So we can replace the drip tip, and that's it. We have our liquid inside our Delta 2 ready to vape. So the Delta 2 Clearomiser then, the wattage range that they say is good for is between 20 and 45 watts. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off at 20 watts. I've got it on the Sigelli 150 watt mod here, and we are going to have the airflow, 2 airflow controls, one either side. We're going to adjust it so it's half open. I've got the juice control fully open because I'm using 70% VG juice. So let's see how it vapes. So this is at 20 watts. Still a fair amount of vape production coming off it. And the flavour is just about there. So let's bump it up to 25 watts. See what 25 watts brings us. So now the flavour really starts coming in. Okay, the tanks to compare this one to, there's the Kanga Sub-Tank Mini and the Atlantis. The Aspire Atlantis, it's got the same sort of vertical coil build, and we'll talk a little bit more about the LVC coils in this. But this one runs at higher wattages, whereas the Kanga Sub-Tank Mini, you can get a good amount of vape at low wattages and a lot of flavour. This one, you need to bump up the watts a bit to get the flavour coming out, I've found. It starts kicking in around about this 25 watt mark. Let's go up to 30 watts. So we're already about 10 watts higher than we would be if we were on a Kanga Sub-Tank Mini. Here we go, 30 watts. So still with the airflow control half open there, as you can see. Let's go up to 35 watts and just open up this airflow. So as you can see, really good amount of vape reduction. I would personally say that the Kanga Sub-Tank Mini, their sub-ohm coils, their 0.5 coils, produce a bit more flavour in the vape. Now the Delta 2 does come with a rebuildable coil, but you have to buy it separately, an RBA deck. I've got that coming, so when that comes I shall be reviewing that. It only comes with the two stock 0.5 ohm coils. But it does chuck the vapour. Let's just pump it up to 40 watts, get the full 45 watts out of this. Here we go, 45 watts. So as you can see, with the airflow fully open, high VG juice, 45 watts, this thing kicks out the vapour. Okay, so let's look at the pros on this then. What you've got is a nice solid built tank. The machining is pretty good. It's got a Derrelin screw on the drip tip there, so it reduces the amount of heat you get through the tank. And it holds 3.5 mils of liquid as well. Okay, the cons of this little thing then. Well, first of all, you've got these three windows here. So there's three windows on the tank, and they're quite difficult to see your liquid in. There's no air, there's no light coming through, so you can't see the level of liquid very well. Secondly, the chamber for filling. The filling process is quite difficult because you've got this very wide chamber that the coil sits in, leaving the outside quite thin. So your bigger nozzles and your drippers, your droppers that you fill your tanks with, quite fiddly to fill. Third thing then, that I'm not a great fan of, is the airflow control sits on the actual base of the mod that you put it on. So if we take it off, if we take the tank off, as you can see, the airflow control is level with the base of the tank itself, which means that when you put it on your mod, you're going to be scraping this airflow control across the base of your mod, scratching up. So things like the Sigelli 150 watt mod can get scratched up around the 510. Also, you don't have an adjustable 510 insert there, and it doesn't seem to be spring loaded either. It does have very good airflow control, big wide slots on there, as you can see. It's easily adjustable. And also it does have the 3 juice flow controls on these LVC coils. So as you can see here, as we looked at in close detail earlier on, you have the 3 juice control ports here. So for your higher VG liquids fully open, for your higher PG liquids closed. And they're nice big chunky coils as well. It does have the mesh in there to stop the spit back. Now the thing about these coils is they are made, or the coil itself is obviously made from camphor, but you've got inside the wicking material is made of a organic cotton and a man-made fibre as well, very much like your Aspire tanks. And now your Aspire coil. So there's the potential of this may be causing harm. It hasn't been fully researched into the wicking material. It does flake apart. Rip Tripper did a video. It flakes apart when it's wet. So unknown as to whether this is going to cause damage to your lungs later on down the line, other than organic wicking materials. So, plus points then. It's a good sturdy build. The build quality is very good. It does look aesthetically pleasing. And as we've seen, it chucks out the vapor. And it holds 3.5 mils of juice. A lot of airflow control. And you've also got the 3 juice ports on there as well. And it will fit on any 510 mod. And the size of it is 22 millimeters. So it will fit on your mech mod, your 22 mil mech mods as well. And it sits on your tanks with no overflow. Sits very neatly on there as well. And the price for this is pretty reasonable. I should put a link below where to get it. It does vary from vendor to vendor, but this one comes from GearBest, and they do very, very cheap prices, so well worth checking out. So if you like your higher wattage vapes and your Clearomizers, then the Delta 2 is definitely one to look at. Despite its cons, it's still a very good tank, and it does come with your 2 stock coils. Like I say, I'm getting the RBA deck, so when that comes, I should be doing a review for that. Get it from gearbest.com, link below as always, check it out.